What is going on? What's the dealio?
Brother.
What's up, Saba? What's up, Jude?
Hey, what's up, Heather?
What's going on? Oh, man. Got a long day today. Long day today. Summer is finally, I don't care if they say it's officially summer or not. It was here, and then Dre walked outside and ruined it by seeing snow. We're going to have to be doing a thing like the hedgehog with Dre. So, all right, Dre, step outside. And whatever he see, if he runs back in the house, that means there's another something coming.
Did Dre see his shadow or not?
No, man. Dre, the other day, he's like, hey, bro, freaking snow out here, man. It's about to come your way. And I was like, no, if you don't say it, it won't happen. If you don't say it, it's like a hard-headed person going to the doctor. And they're like, hey, you could get sick if you continue to do. No, don't tell me. Because if you don't tell me, it won't happen. No, that's not how it works. That ain't how it works.
Claim it, Trot.
Huh?
I said, do the name it and claim it stuff.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that. The power and authority of God, 100%, is to take authority over your body. But at the same time, you can't eat Cheetos and say, in the name of Jesus, these Cheetos turned to broccoli on the way to my stomach. That's not how that works. So, let me see. That is not how that works. Naughty Night said, I tried. Aha!
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Giving Grace. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, Trot. God bless y'all. I'm just going to sit in and sit silently, just going through a little something.
Oh, man, yeah, we all are at different times. If it ain't me, it's you. If it ain't you, it's Dre. If it ain't Dre,
yes, sir.
It's going to be somebody. And,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I just thank God that I have you all to lean on and to fellowship with and to the Word of God. I honestly do. Yeah,
I tell people all the time, because we are getting in. It's so funny how people deny this. It's so funny. We are getting to a point that the brick-and-mortar church is dead. Period.
Right.
It's dead. You can walk in there and try to force revival all you want, but one thing you cannot do is force something to live. It has to want
absolutely.
to live. It has to want to live.
Absolutely.
And the brick and mortar church it's dead. Period.
Absolutely.
And so you have people that they don't want to believe that. And they're like, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's because they got some sort of ties to it. But it's dead, 100%.
Right.
Now, does that mean a person who's born again that walks in there, that the Spirit of God's not in there because they're in there? No. If you got the Spirit of God dwelling in you, any place you walk in, your attitude 100% should be, the Spirit of God is here now. I don't know if it was here before, but it's here now because I'm here. And that attitude is what revives people, that attitude, okay? But what's happening right now is technology is slowly starting to creep in into every aspect of our life. And so there will be, and there can be brick and mortar churches that are still thriving and still alive. But it seems as though it's come to a halt because, first off, even though it was God's idea to have buildings for fellowship, people are not taking advantage of buildings and fellowship regarding Christ. They're not taking advantage. It pretty much just becomes a playground. It pretty much becomes a what do you call, like a country club? That's pretty much what it becomes. Now, can it revive? Of course it can. Of course it can. But right now, it's not doing too good. So, there's been a lot of people that have been dying literally in their physical body. While their physical body is already dead and enmity to God, their soul is, even though they're saved, there are people that are saved and are still dying inside for the word. They're dying for it. And, the good thing is they're saved and God is faithful, but people are going outside of the norm to find it. And that's when you know that people are just sick and tired of being sick and tired, or just tired of it. And so they're going to go, they're not going to listen to anything. They're not going to let anyone hinder them from being fed the word. And they're going to go looking for it wherever they can find it. And people say, well, that's dangerous. And no, not if you believe God is faithful, it ain't dangerous. If your heart is looking for the word, God is going to meet you right there where you're looking, wherever you're at. It doesn't matter where you are. So he's 100% faithful. There are still church buildings that are still 50% alive. They're holding on by a thread, but the overall church brick and mortar building is coming to an end, and I believe that it could still come back from it. But what it's going to take is it's going to take a lot of people finally becoming disciples and slowly start integrating into churches with the revived heart and bring that church back alive. But I think it's going to be a long process. To be honest, I think the process if it hasn't already just started, it will. If it hasn't already. Now, it could already be in a 2, 3, maybe even a 5-year process of someone entering a church and helping it come back, reviving that building. And I'm talking about the building, the church working as a whole. But it's definitely started because there has been too many people that I personally have discipled that are already going to a church building. They're already going to one. And little by little, those people, and there's a couple of them right now that I'm still wondering why they haven't, pushed up a little bit in rank. I'm using that word just so people understand what I'm saying. Like they haven't pushed up in rank. I don't know what the reason is. It doesn't matter, but there's a lot of people that are slowly allowing themselves to become discipled and being held accountable on, how to act in the position that they're going to be in. Because the thing is, God is the one that's omnipresent, not us. We're not omnipresent. God is. And so God uses man to use that dominion, which is our dominion here, to pour your life into people so they can take every day that living bread and become a light in the brick and mortar building that they're going to. A lot of people still go there because they have family, and I'll never ever in my life talk someone out of going to a brick and mortar building. But right now, it is 100% true that the brick and mortar building is at a decay. I mean, it's been happening. I want to say it probably started 70s or 80s, man. I and I know that people will say, well, there was a revival over there. Well, first of all, those types of revivals are going to happen whether there's a brick and mortar church or not. Those things are going to happen. But true revival happens every day from one person to another, sowing the seed into the heart, the person coming alive through the word. That's true revival. Hold on. Anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, so I'm saying all that because, given Grace came up here and just saying that she's, going through a hard time that most of us are familiar, whatever detail it would be, most of us would be familiar and have some sort of understanding, not in depth. I know a lady not too long ago, she lost her husband, became a widow. And people were telling her, I understand. And, one of the guys was like 30. And I was like, no, bro, you don't understand. Like, you haven't had a significant other pass away and you're in I think she's probably 65, 66. And, we say those things, right? Those words like, oh, I understand. You can understand a hard time. Yeah, everybody has had a hard time, but you'll never know what it's like to be a 65, 66. And I am speaking of my female buddy of mine, but she's about 66 and lost her husband, and she's a widow, and I'm never gonna know what that's like ever. No, I'll never be a female, no matter how hard I tell everyone to change my pronouns. That's never going to happen. So I'll never understand what it's like to be a widow. So I don't tell people I understand those exact things, but we all understand a hard time. And a lot of the times people are just tired of dealing with brick and mortar buildings. So when Given Grace was saying, I'm just so glad you guys are here, she's referring to the mentality of a brick and mortar building, because we're all used to going to a physical building. We're all used to that. But not everybody is either capable of continuing to go or don't trust the few that are right there around them, and God is faithful. And so we have a means, which YouTube and the smaller app is becoming a means for people to go to quote unquote church again. So I noticed really the majority of people that would call like YouTube or TikTok church, first of all, it's not a church building, brick and mortar, it's not. But anyone that is part of the church, which all of us are, it's not wrong to call it church. It's not wrong. I don't know why people say this is not church. What they're talking about is the game. If you don't know what I mean by the game, let me break it down to you. See, a church, let me show you what a lot of these people are saying. A church, see, they don't think a church is a group of believers coming together. That's not church. That's just a bunch of believers. A church to these people is when you walk in and there's a greeting. Hi, thank you for coming. And you can smell all 47,000 different perfumes and colognes on everybody's body. A church to them is the deacons come by and like, let me help you sit down, like you're too stupid to find a seat. Let me help you find a parking spot, and I understand why. I've been there, done that. I've seen all this. But this is what they think a church is, the game. Hey, come. We're going to help you. Okay, park here. All right. Nice to see you, Miss Johnson. How's little Joe doing? Oh, he's still a snot-nosed brat. Well, we're all going to get on to him today. Don't worry about it. That's church to these people. That's the only thing that church is a building. People coming together at this building, someone telling you where to park, someone telling you where to sit. You got your choir. You're going to sing for 30 minutes. Whether Mr. and Mrs. Jones sing on the right tone or not, by God, they're going to sing. After the choir does that, I may be mixing some of this up, but the point is, the choir sings. All right, guys, we're going to talk about some daily activities. Y'all do know that the concrete in the back is broke, so we're pushing and moving forward to fixing the concrete so someone doesn't pop another tire. And Johnny Slovak's going to come up here and talk about that right now. So he goes up there and he talks about 10 minutes about how the freaking concrete's broke. We need money to fix this concrete back here. And there was a water leak in the church the other day. And the volleyball team's going to start in 2 weeks. So somebody please come up and volunteer your time so we can have a volleyball team. And then church camp's and they talk about that for 15 minutes. And after that's done, a co-pastor comes up, talks about how his wife broke her fingernails. And she's got the prettiest hands in the world. And she's sitting right there. She's the most prettiest thing. If you ain't seen her, she's right. Stand up, honey. Stand up. Oh, that's church. That's church to these people. That's what church is. And then when that's done, the pastor comes out with glistening clothes on, comes out with a big smile on his face because he's about to save the world with the same message that he presented 10 times in a row. I don't care how he flipped it. First message, he talked about fish, same message. Second one, he came out, talked about chicken nuggets. The third Sunday, he came out, talked about crayons. All they do is change one item. And everybody's like, oh, guys, greatest thing I ever heard. I'm like, oh, my God, people drive me crazy. Same stuff. You're saying, y'all are all liars. Y'all are all saying the same stuff. Listen, that's church to these people. They call that church. It's this game. It's this cycle over and over and over. Half the people in there never read the Bible. The other half, they're just showing up because they ain't got nothing to do. Then you got small portions of people. They're just arguing about who's going to be the next pastor and who's going to be there. You just sit there. I just want to get a BB gun and just shoot all of them in the butt. So what the heck y'all doing? This is church? Is anybody learning anything here? Well, the so-and-sos owned the building, so we took it, and then crazy stuff that goes on. And then anyone that would say, oh, that's not how, you're a liar. You are a liar, 100%. What I just went over is what people call church. That's church. Now, in that church, there's going to be some dumb things that go on. There's going to be some dumb people there. In that church, there's going to be some great things that go on. There's going to be some great people there. The best and worst thing about a church brick and mortar building are the people, period. So if you go to be part of the church, find the people that are there for God, not for church. Don't go to a brick and mortar building and look for people that are there for any other reason but for God. Don't do it. Don't waste your time. There's going to be people that's part of the church because their family been part of that church for 20 years. They're not there for the right reasons. And you need to use discernment to figure out if they are there for the right reasons or not. But when you become part of the church, you're not looking to rank up. That's not what you're doing. Okay? If you have kids, you're just volunteering your time because the true truth about why you're there is because you are head of your family. That's the reason. If you start from the basics, everything else will work itself out. You don't go into a church saying in your head that you're there for everybody. You just kicked yourself out of that church. I'm here, you need to tell yourself, and I'm talking about married couples. Do you understand? I'm here for my family, period. There is nothing wrong with showing up to a church building with your family in mind. Nothing wrong with that. Matter of fact, that is why you need to go. Now, after that, after that, if they want your help or they want you to participate in something, then fine, you can. And matter of fact, you should. Okay? You should. But don't think you're going to go in there and change the game. The game's not going to change. There are people so religious. If you tell them that YouTube or TikTok is church, they will unalive themselves in front of you just to make you feel bad for saying that. The church is a body of people. It's the nation of God. It's not a building. The church is not a building. Church will never be a building. The temple itself is every person individually is a temple of God. You are the building. You are the building. You're it. Wherever you go, that's where the church is. It's that simple, but people don't understand that. You say the word church, and they're thinking about the little building on the corner over there between 2nd and East 4th Street. That's church. That's how brainwashed these people are. So, like I said, every one of us been through something hard. Everybody. I've never met a person that's not been through anything hard. And when you find a good group of people to hang out with, you hang out with them until you can't grow anymore. And then you go find some smarter people to hang out with. That's what you got to do. You don't stick around. If you're not continuing to grow, you don't stick around. You don't. Don't you understand? It's between you and God. Your relationship is between you and God. And you don't just become stagnant with everybody else because nobody wants to grow. You don't do that to yourself. You give every one of them a handshake, all 50 of them, however many's in that one little church, and you move on to another one so you can glean and continue to grow in life. But there are churches, that never stop growing. They continue to grow. They do exist. But I'm saying as an entirety, as like a totality of physical church buildings, that thing has decayed. It's decayed away. It's not like it used to be. And for anyone to say that that's not true, then it's you that is blind or you're lying. The church, the assembly, the gathering of people today, it's starting to happen more and more on the internet. And for anyone to say that that's wrong, maybe you're fighting for the church and mortar building to continue. Maybe that's why you're saying that, because I'm telling you, it is growing and it's growing rapidly. And it's a short period of time that there's going to be more than half the churches are going to be closing their doors in America. And people would say, well, that's a sad day. Well, it was a good day when they took the 10 Commandments out of the school. And people would say, oh, how can you say that? I said it, and I will stand 100% behind what I just said. The 10 Commandments, we're not under the 10 Commandments. If you want to put something regarding God, in the schools for kids, it's not the law. You don't put the 10 Commandments. You put words on there that are of the new covenant, what we're under. Count it all joy. Let your heart not be troubled. Those are the things that you put in the schools where kids are. You don't put thou shalt not kill. Hey, Dad, why is school telling me not to kill? Listen. I understand the principle behind the 10 Commandments. I get it. But if you're trying to teach anybody about God, you need to teach them how to harness their emotions. You are spirit, soul, and body. That's what you put around people who you want to grow. You don't put the fear of God when Moses gave the law you don't put that in there. You want your kids coming home with a smile. You don't want kids coming home frowning all the time.
Bro, you just made me realize something, bro.
What?
Put that in there to try to control them, brother. It's easier to control them under the law than to give them grace.
Well, I mean, again, we could sit here all day and, and kind of say, hold on. We could sit here all day and try to pick apart individual schools, why they put it up and all that. The point is, coming from like a teacher perspective, that's not what you put on the walls. So, people that were Satanists and, people that were just against God were like, yeah, get the 10 Commandments out of there. I wasn't an adult when it happened. I don't remember the years. Anybody know the year? What year did that happen anyway? Does anybody remember?
When the 10 Commandments were removed?
Yeah, it was in the 80s or 90s.
Might have gone up to early 2000s.
Does anybody know? Okay, let's stop guessing. Look, if somebody knows, look it up. Tell me.
1980.
Huh?
1980.
All right, so it happened in the 80s, okay, when they did this. So I'm a kid. All right. We still prayed and did pledge of allegiance. We still did all that, which is amazing. I never had a problem with that. Still don't. But I guarantee you, Satanist mindset people, whenever the 10 Commandments came out, boy, you could just see them like, yeah, get it out of there. Oh, it never belonged there. It shouldn't have been there. New Testament believing statements should have been in there. That's what should have been in there, not the law. The law should have never have been in there. And when you say things like that, people think that you hate the law. No. I understand the covenant. I understand the covenants, and so I'm being honest to what covenant we're under. That's it. It has nothing to do with hating one and no. The whole Bible is there because God made sure that all of it was there. So it'd be like saying going to, Exodus, I think, is it 20 where the 10 Commandments were given? Wherever the chapter and is exactly, but it'd be like you tearing that out and saying, okay, let's take the law out of the Bible. No, you can't do that. It's not about that. It's not about taking the law away. No. The truth of what happened, what was given by Moses, that will always remain. And, you need to know the history of that. But with all that being said, it's the church, the game that the church has created. Pass the plate out, okay? Mary, can you go? Yeah, Hey, Jack, can you? Everybody, pass the plates, guys. Don't be, roll up your money and stick it in there, and it's the offering bag. And then 2 hours later, okay, we're gonna send around the offering plate. They got a bag, a plate, a basket. I mean, they got every object, even a cup at times. Guys, the pink cups are for the so and so, and the blue cups. And listen, if you got a white cup, remember, if you got a white cup, there could be a prize underneath. It's just this big game that church has been playing for a real long time. Listen, God can still obviously meet people at a church, and they can become saved at a church. But it's the people that turn it into, it's more of a religious practice than it is really about making disciples. So, and I've had plenty of people reach out, and there's quite a few of them actually that probably hardly ever come to. Some of them come to YouTube, and there's a very small amount of them that come to TikTok every once in a while. I had to force them to get a TikTok account. But what they like to do, for whatever reason, is they like to just, at the end of the day, go to the YouTube and watch. They'll look at the title, and if it's something they want to listen to, they'll listen to it. And then, instead of making a comment in the YouTube, they'll just send me a text. Hey, man, I like when you said this. And I'm like, did you give me a thumbs up? I think I did. People are different. You meet people from all over the world, and some of them are different. And even though YouTube and TikTok has this, this algorithm, in the system itself, there are people that don't care about none of that. And they don't realize that if they don't heart you, or they don't understand, why do I need to do all that? They think it's you telling them to do it. And you're like, no, bro, I can't explain it. It's like, and there's some people that they'll learn to see what it is you're saying, and that, but they don't go to church. The point I'm making is these people do not go to church, and I'm talking about brick and mortar building. So people who are trying to tell you, no, TikTok and YouTube, it's not church. Oh my God. Listen, these people will disagree and say, I don't care. This is my church. This is where I want to go to church. And it becomes this ridiculous argument. It's such a dumb argument to argue about what is church and what. Look, there's some people who don't like playing the game, bro. They don't like playing that game, the whole game. They just want to learn about God. So for you to just want to argue and say, well, let me show you how you're wrong, they don't care. They don't care. So, I always tell people to go to a church, find a group of people that you can physically hang out with. And I think it's great. You just got to be real picky about who you're hanging out with. I mean, that it is what it is. Nanny, what were you saying?
Yes, I'd like to interrupt you just 1 second because I got to get ready for work. But I was just going to tell you that a church that I was at, I went on a children's committee, and that year, I was the one that made the decision, and I decided that we weren't going to have an Easter egg hunt because I don't believe in it. And they got mad at me, and I was never on the children's committee again after that.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and that does cause sometimes like a type of church hurt. But I always tell people, man, when you go to a church, I hate to say this, and the brick and mortar church are not going to tell you this. They don't want you to even think this way. But basically, 90% of the time, if not higher, I hate that the number's that high, but for sure 90% of the time, you go to a church. Basically, it's know your place, sit down, shut up, and listen. That's what it is, because not everybody can sing, not everybody can teach, not people just sometimes have to sit down. This is what they're gonna tell you. Now, we're supposed to learn how to use everybody. Everybody can play a part doing something. That is true. But the religious game, it comes out pretty quick. You go to a church and before you know it, it's just a matter of time where you kind of have to realize that, all right, I'm just going to come here and I'm just going to listen. And the thing is, most churches, that's all they want you to do is just come in and just listen. Like the pastor's smart, you're stupid, sit down, you listen. You can call that a church all you want, but that's not the church. The church, the body of God, is making disciples, and those people going out and making disciples. That's what the church is. Do what?
I got to tell you one more thing real quick, and then I have to go. My friend that I've been telling you about, that I've been discipling with using, the things that you've been telling me, she's getting stronger and stronger and crying less and less in her belly. And I just have to tell you that she made a big stride the other day, and I'm just really just rejoicing in the Lord that she's listening, and it was just a big step that she made, and I just wanted to share that with you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You're discipling me, and I'm discipling her, and she's just making a big stride, and I was just really proud of her, and I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, no, that's all. God is awesome if you let him be. He really is.
Thank you, and I love y'all so much, and I consider this my church anyway. I just wanted to know that.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and do what?
I said I love y'all.
Oh, well, we all love you back, I'm sure.
Okay, bye.
All right. And I mean, if, like I said, you can find a church, great, go to it. Be picky. You have a right to be picky who you're building relationships with, and you have to remember, who's that? Josiah, what's up, bro? Hard to get anything. No. Let's talk about Calvinism. Oh my God. Better not. Why would you want to talk about that?
Better not.
Let me make this last statement. But anyway, with all that being said, guys, look, there's going to be people, they just don't want to go to the church building anymore. Okay. And I mean, if you use your common sense, it's not because they are a hateful people. Now, there may be some people, I don't want to go to church no more. Maybe they got some things to work on. But there are people that every time they go to a church, it's the church itself ruins it for people. That's a fact as well. It's not one-sided. It's not one-sided at all. There are people that are great people and the people that are running the brick and mortar church building just ruin it all the time. They've done it many times. We all know this. For anyone to say that that's not true, you are a liar. It is true. It does happen. It's not every church. But if it happens to be 3, 4, 5 churches that this family is trying to get established in, what is that telling you? It's telling you that obviously we're coming to a point where the brick and mortar building is just not doing it anymore. And I don't care what denomination that you're in. I don't care if you're Church of God, Church of Christ, Baptist, Catholic. I mean, it doesn't matter which physical building you attend. There are people in there that hurt people, not just physically, but mentally, both. And so, to point your finger and say, oh, well, this certain denomination has hurt more people. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about anyone that's claiming to be a Christian. People are going in there trying to get better, to understand God more, and they just come out more hurt than anything else. And it happens in any denomination. It doesn't matter which one it is. And it's crazy how people want to keep denying this, but it's the people themselves that are saying, I'm tired of going to church buildings. People are saying this. And they're like, well, the Bible says there'll be a great falling away. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. If people aren't at least representing God a little bit, you can't be mad at them that they don't want to be around you. You don't blame other people because they don't want to be around you. They don't want to be around you because you're doing something wrong. Okay? Like I said, though, there are people that they don't know how to act or behave around others. So, of course, they go to church buildings and kind of cause a ruckus. It goes both ways. But to sit here and deny that people inside the church buildings are not running people away from the church building, that's a lie. It's 100% true. It happens all the time. And but if you're going to go, then you need to learn how to play the game. I mean, you can call it whatever you want, and people get cute and say, oh, you're going to call, playing church a game. I'm talking about the role, the whole facade thing that happens. And I just went over a few minutes ago. You just need to learn that when you go there, as soon as you walk in that building, you don't talk more. You talk less. This thing's already been running before you got there. And so if you're still thinking about becoming part of a brick and mortar church building, I recommend it. I'll tell people all the time, find you a good physical church to go to, meet some people, make some friends, and don't stop arguing with everybody about what they believe and how they believe it. And God dang, learn how to keep a friend. Yeah, it's crazy. Sometimes I meet people and they don't have friends. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't have friends? And they're like, I don't have any friends. I'm like, you're freaking 38 years old. What do you mean? What have you been doing with your life that you don't have a friend? I got friends that I've known for 20 something years because I've learned how to keep one. I've learned how to keep a friend. You have to learn how to keep one. So sometimes you got to give yourself a little bit more. I'm telling you, having friends is like building a relationship between you and the opposite sex. It takes work. They already know if they're an adult, they already know you're not going to be perfect. Okay? But they need to somehow see you as a, superhuman. They have to see it. They need to see something. If somebody calls you and they're like, man, I got a flat tire, don't make them call somebody else. Go freaking fly over there and help them out. And they're like, well, I feel like they're going to use. You'll know when someone's using you, bro. You'll know. If they're always calling you for petty stuff all the time, then you're like, oh, okay, they're one of them. They're that kind of friend. They're not the good friend. They're the bad friend. And sometimes a bad friend needs a good one, but you draw the line. And you say, hey, quit calling me because you need me to go buy toothpaste for you. I'm not going to go to the store and buy toothpaste. First of all, nobody's ever asked me to do that, but I'm just saying, after a while, you can figure out what kind of friend that this person is, because I've had them all. I've had all the kind of friends. I've had friends that are very wealthy, and they'll try to, and some of them try not to do it on purpose, but they'll try to use you, And they're like, hey, man, I need my number one guy. Hey, man, can you go do this? And I said, hey, look, I know you got a lot of money and all that, and you think you just can call me and, hey, can you? I said, hey, brother, no, I can't do that today. Well, man, you're my number one guy. Yeah, I know I am, but I can't do that today. And you have to have, there has to be your time. You don't just, and I say, hey, bro, listen, if you don't want to be friends no more, because I can't go, then we won't be friends. And I tell you, they'll come crying back as a friend because they know that they're trying to jump the gun. They're trying to hop the line there. But I'll still call them and say, hey, I need you over here right now. Well, I don't know if I should come because I said, well, then don't come. I'm telling you, but the thing is, I don't call for petty stuff. So like if I ever call someone and say I need something, it's because it's needed. So if that person tells me, well, I can't do, then maybe, okay, well then have a good one then. Because I know for a fact that what I'm asking this person for is not petty. I need you over here right now. I need this thing over here needs to be solved, this problem. And then what ends up happening, and I am talking about the wealthy buddy, knucklehead. So he shows up, all right, man, well, I'm here. I said, well, I need you mentally here now. What do you mean? I brought all the stuff and I need you mentally here. You going to be mentally here? Or are you just showing up? Oh, man, all right, let's hurry. I said, then you can just go back to the house. I'll do this by myself. So you gotta, just like you would be when you were a kid. You're in a sandbox. You got 2 toys. I got 2 toys. But you're not going to have 4 toys. I'm going to sit here watching you play with all my 4 toys. Nah, that ain't going to happen either. So little by little, those very weird things that you should have picked up in the sandbox, you have to start implementing them to your friends. Like, hey, we're not doing that, bro. No. But you keep a friend by being a good friend. The whole point I'm making is the way you keep the friend is you got to be the good friend. That's how you keep a friend. All right. After a while, if you find out they just ain't worth a darn, then fine, move on and make another friend. But good friends are not easy to come by. You can find them at church and you can lose them at church too. So, you can go to a bar and find someone that would be your friend. I met a dude. I don't drink, don't go to bars. I'm just saying there's still people at a bar. Okay. There's still people there. There's people at church that will hurt you as much as someone in a bar would. All right. But, what were you saying?
I was going to say that when you go to church, a lot of these churches have been there for a very long time and they're like families. So you gotta have to approach it like if you're engaged and your other significant other person is bringing you around their family for the first time, you're going to be very respectful. You're not going to talk very much. You're going to kind of observe and see who's what. You say, oh, okay, uncle over here, he kind of crazy. I see this person over here. Okay, he nuts. I see this lady right here. She running everything. So you're very observant and you keep your mouth shut and you kind of find your way if you really want to be a part of that family. So it's the same thing with church. A lot of people go into churches and they want to tell you their whole resume about, I did 50 million degrees in this and you didn't know what you were talking. I had a guy recently tell me that when I was preaching. It was funny. At my dad's church. He was like, you said spirit, soul, and body, but I don't think you really understand what that means. I was like, oh, yeah? So you're a young man. Come here. Come sit down.
Come here, young buck.
I said, bro, if you don't get up out of here, ahead.
Yeah, come here, young buck. Yeah,
that's how you make an enemy off rip. Like, oh my God. Obviously, I'm smart enough to realize, I'm like, all right, whatever. Yeah. Dealt with him appropriately, but an older pastor or somebody like that that's stuck in their ways, I'm like, man, get this guy out of here, bro. He's trying to come in here and disrupt everything we got going on.
Yeah. I'm just saying all this because we don't really talk about it a whole lot, and I don't want anyone, thinking that I'm telling you not to go to church. I say it all the time. Find a good church, a brick-and-mortar church. Find one. They're out there. If you can't, then you just can't. It don't matter what the reason is, okay? But if you can, I'm telling you, try your hardest to do it. But, I understand maybe not all, but 90% of the reasons that people will use on why they can't find one. I understand the majority of those reasons, lived through them myself, seen those kind of issues with other people. So to me, it's a no-brainer. I get it. But if you can do it, if not, it's all good. That's why God is on YouTube. God is on TikTok. He's there. So when people say YouTube pastors and TikTok pastors, and he's saying all this stuff, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I do this in real life, like people that I meet in the world. I do this in real life. I just brought it to YouTube. I brought it to TikTok. So it's funny when people are, and remember, there's multiple sides of this. There are people that focus. There are people that focus on all the arguments, and I'm with them. Trust me, I'm 100% with the people that are like, oh my God, TikTok's crazy. I'm with you 100%. But, I don't believe those people would say that God is not on TikTok and no one can get saved on TikTok. I don't believe they think that. There may be some people that do, but I disagree with that. But I know there's a lot of people that they have 100% witnessed how crazy TikTok can be. And it's not just TikTok, it's the whole world. We live in a fallen world. So it's not TikTok. That when you get on TikTok, you are in the world. I mean, we're already here, but now we're like here. Like we have matrixed into because all of them come out. All of them come out. I don't know if y'all ever heard that song, I wear my sunglasses at night. I mean, you might as well wear them on TikTok. You might as well put your glasses on, just, hey, get on TikTok. What's up, bro? I mean, because it is fair game. They all come in here. They're all there. It's like we're in, Las Vegas, and it's 3:00 in the morning all the time. It is always 3 a.m., 2 a.m., it's always 2 to 3 a.m. on TikTok. I don't care where you're at. Someone is on TikTok, and it is 2 or 3 a.m. where they are. It is always 2 or 3 a.m. on TikTok. You might as well just put your glasses on. Matter of fact, look where I'm at. Look at this curtain back here. It's really for sound, but look at this where I'm at. I could put my glasses on right now. If I don't tell anybody where I'm at, they don't know what time it is. I can just say, man, it's 2 a.m. What's up? What y'all doing? All day on TikTok. And so people run away from TikTok because the reality of the world is shown on TikTok, and people do not want to see the ugly. But when you realize that the world is already ugly, then that's what you're going to get. But there's a lot of people that they are looking for salvation. They don't even know what they're looking for. 100%, there's people have no clue what they're looking for. But you know what? God sent you to show them, right? God sent you to show them what they're looking for. So instead of wasting your time arguing in these TikTok rooms, or trying to get this one to see your point, or why wouldn't you take all that energy that God has given you and use it to make disciples? You can start your own live, take whatever. I don't care if you come to Descaled every morning and then later in the evening you open up a live and you're like, that's it, I'm descaling somebody today. You would be better off doing that for the kingdom than going into these lives where it's the same people every day arguing about the same stuff and everybody's still stupid. Ain't nobody learning nothing. And then it's really like 2 or 3 groups battling, right? Like 2 or 3 denominations. Like nobody's really saying what their denomination is, but you know what it is because they talk about the same. Every time they open their mouth, you already know what they're going to say. So there's like click, and you know how everybody knows how the panel is right here, right? You got 2, 4. Okay, it is 8 people. So you got 8 people right here. It's like, let's say, for instance, Dre and Nina is one denomination. Benny and Jen is another denomination. Let's see. Who is that? Oh, that's Jennifer. Jennifer and Christian is one denomination, and Giving Grace and Saba. So we put them in categories up here, and those 2 are always arguing with the bottom 2, and the bottom 2 are always arguing with, and everybody knows who, again, they may not tell you what denomination they're in, but they're like, all right, you got 1 minute to talk. And so the two top was like, well, Jehovah, oh, Jehovah, 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 Jehovah. And we already know who they are. Jehovah, Jehovah, Jehovah. And then you go to the bottom one, they're like, man, black people are the best, prettiest people. It's all about the black skin, black people. Then you go to the middle one, they're like, if you don't speak in tongues, you ain't going to heaven. You got to speak in tongues. We all know. Man, we already know who you are, what you're doing. Ain't nobody learning nothing in there. You just part of the thing. You would be better off starting alive and get someone who really wants to learn and start pouring your life into that person. You would be better off doing that than going someplace where it feels like things are happening. But at the end of the day, I look and I still see soil. I don't see nothing popping up from it. I see nothing, no grass. The Bible says first comes the blade, then the ear, then the full corn in the ear. That's what it says. And be a whole live going on for 10 hours. The next day too, and the next, and the next. Be freaking a whole year of this. And I look, I don't see nothing coming out of that. I see no blades of grass coming out of that ground. None. That's just as dead as some of these brick and mortar churches. Your job is to make disciples. That's what your job is. All right. Hey, Giving Grace, you got something to say? Because there's two things that we're supposed to talk about today. I made notes. I don't know. I think Amazing brought one of them up, but I don't know if he's here. He was talking about blotting out of the Bible. And then I have another one here that says reprobate mind. Oh, my bad. A reprobate mind, but I don't remember.
That was Kenny.
That was Kenny. Okay, I don't know if they're here. Kenny or Amazing. I know I saw them in here earlier. If y'all want to,
Amazing is on the panel.
Oh, okay. All right. Kenny, whenever we'll Amazing. Did you talk or did you put blotting out the Bible?
Yeah.
All right.
How y'all doing?
We're doing awesome, dude. How you?
Wonderful. Yeah, you right, man. Absolutely. Every single freaking thing you saying is right, man.
Yeah. So there ain't nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong talking about God on a platform, in real life, in the street. Ain't none of it wrong. You talk about God wherever you could talk about him. I don't care if you're in jail listening. There might be people in jail listening. I don't know. I know you're not supposed to have a phone in jail. I don't think you are. But there may be somebody that's got a phone. Hey, you know what? They probably got a fake account because they're not going to put their photo on there. So they...
Yeah, they doing it. I think they done start letting them do it some kind of way, man. They probably done let them... you got guys that be really in behind the razor wire online on a live TikTok.
Oh.
I saw one on TikTok the other night battling in his orange jumpsuit.
Oh, that's guys too good. We're battling it. Hey, that's good right there, bro. He's wearing his orange jumpsuit battling. That's awesome, bro. Hey, you know what?
Yeah, he said, "Come on, gang, gang." He said, "Come on, gang, gang, with the prison gang, gang."
Hey, out of everybody, that dude's winning right there, bro, because he really don't have time to do nothing else. So that boy is winning. Oh, that boy is winning for real. Hey, everybody else got a family. Hey, listen, a lot of these people got families, jobs. They got their wife nagging at him because they're always on TikTok or something, and he's over here trying to battle this dude in prison, just winning. He's winning. He's like, I'm gonna be here all day.
Hey, Trent, it's called Prison Talk. Prison Talk, like Prison TOK, and they have they be cooking on that mug, bro. Sometimes I'll be sitting there watching that junk laughing.
Hold on, what do you mean they be cooking? What kind of cooking?
In the prison cell, bro. They'll be cooking with like electrical wire and like whatever.
Oh, well, you said cooking. I thought you meant like cooking folks on TikTok about the Bible. No, you're talking about physically cooking.
Oh, I'm talking about like literally cooking. They'll have commissary in there. They'll make their prison foods and people watching, and it's really.
You're talking about like in their room. They're making food inside their room.
Yeah, it's genius. The way they make up stuff is incredible.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not, we have a.
If I hear you say one more time, and then what we're gonna do is spit it out, Christian.
We have a guy who.
Hey, Christian, that was actually your time to start off by going. So what I was saying was.
Yeah,
I was gonna say it for him because I knew he was gonna miss it.
Yeah, you should just be like, so what I was saying was. All right, go ahead. All right, go ahead, Christian.
Yeah.
So like I was saying.
Yeah, saying we we have some family members who have somebody who's in jail. Who, dude, let me tell you what, man.
This guy was studying Barack Obama, bro. That's how Barack 100%. Obama speak.
It's intentional pausing. It captures the intention.
No.
But the guy is in prison, and I've never seen somebody talk on the phone with more minutes and more time in my life, bro. It is like he's not even in prison. He talks like he's like my mother in the 80s on the phone. She was always on the phone, right? He talks like that, bro, for hours to his kids and doing stuff because he like trains dogs in prison or something like that. I don't know what's going on.
They train dogs in prison?
Yeah, he's got like a dog in his cell with him, bro. It's like, dude, you're not even in prison. You're just living in an apartment.
Train him to do what? Catch the ones running away or what?
They train them to be service animals, bro, and then they give them to people. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I heard of that. Yeah. They train service dogs. Yeah. No, I heard of that. Yeah. I didn't know what you were talking about.
This dude's like,
I need to send my dog to prison.
He's got a phone. He's got a dog. He's got all kinds of stuff. It's like you're not even in prison.
Oh man.
He became a Pentecostal minister, I think, in prison.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Well, anyway, let me see.
Hey, Misunderstood is trying to come up, so I'm gonna drop for her for a second. And I'll take my spot back.
Yeah, just come back in the box.
Misunderstood's coming up with some heat on this. I know.
Oh, she's gonna come up here and say, "No, y'all don't know. Let me tell you how it goes down."
Well, true. You're right.
What's up? Tell us.
So the people that you guys see, are mostly in Fed prison because they have phones. They have more luxury. State is rare, but they do have the dog program, the dog training. Most state, it's hard to get a cell phone. It's not hard to get a cell phone in state, but now they have tablets to avoid the contraband.
Dang, they got tablets in prison?
There were a lot of phones. Yes, they have tablets.
What? Like when you say like like tabbies, like all the kids have those little tablets.
Yes. Huh. But they have no true internet, so they don't have access to TikTok, Facebook, none of that.
Well, then what are they doing with their
designed applications that they have on their app?
Oh, okay. So they just have apps that they can use.
Correct. So they have the Bible app. They have
wow.
all about the laws,
wow.
all kind of stuff. They have a lot of things because it cuts down on the contraband, because cell phones, especially in California, were big ticket items. During COVID, an old iPhone was going for like $8,000 and people were paying it.
Go, man.
Yes.
Man, that's crazy.
So and they do have programs. They have ministries in there. People go in to minister to them. They do have outreach programs. They need more for the rehabilitation to get them to be prepared to come home, so the recidivism rate won't increase. But that's a whole other discussion. That's what I do on the back end.
Yeah.
So yes, but as for what Dre was saying about cooking in the cell, they can cook. You would be surprised.
I didn't think they had kitchens in there. I thought it was just a little bitty freaking room.
No. They have hot pots where they can boil water and plug in.
So
and then
hot pot like a crock pot?
Similar. Okay, so it's similar to a coffee pot where they can boil water. So any type of like top ramen, noodles, and when you order packages for your family members or whatever, they have food that is dry. So when you add water to it, it brings it back. And then there are some prisons that have microwaves inside the room, so they can, well, not inside their cell, but outside in the common area.
Yeah.
For them to heat things up. But yes, let me go ahead and get down.
All right.
I'll talk to y'all later.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for coming up like always.
Always. I missed y'all for the week, but y'all was wilding out. I saw.
It's all right. It's okay. It's all right.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So we got a flash goal. Let's see. This is 40. Oh man, we only got like 55 people in here. Oh shoot. I don't know about that. And yesterday, flash goal, we weren't able to make it. I think we only had like 5 more, I think. So, yeah.
Hey, Trot.
Yeah.
I meant to tell you, I was doing a little research yesterday. America's 33, number 33 in the world in IQ, bro. That's a problem, bro. We need to get up in the top 10 somewhere. That's terrible.
It's but it's been like that for several years. Hey, you didn't see one of the college math teams, like the Harvard math team. We won.
Yeah, they were all Chinese.
They were all Asian. They all look like Flip. Every one of them. Every one of them look like Flip. I don't know where Flip is.
Hey, look, the countries right now from the top to the bottom: China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau, South Korea, Japan, Iran. Oh, that's why Saba's so smart. She's from Iran.
That's what it is, bro.
That's why she picked up on D-scale so quick, bro, because she got a high IQ.
She got a high IQ, bro. Oh, man.
Singapore, Russia, Mongolia, Armenia, Australia, Spain, New Zealand. I mean, Canada's above us, for God's sake.
Spain? Wait a minute. My ancestors, bro? Hold up, bro. What number is Spain?
My ancestors, bro.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Man, listen to that. 13. That's not bad.
Yep. Canadian, they're up there higher. Sri Lanka, Slovenia, New Zealand, France, Belarus, Serbia, Italy, Switzerland, Georgia, Malaysia, Finland, Vietnam, Belgium, Greece,
Vietnam. The Viet Cong doing better.
Yeah, that's where Chris is from. Christian, he's Vietnamese.
He's Vietnamese. Asian.
I'm Slovenian.
And then the United States is like way after that. Iceland, Slovakia, and then USA. I'm like, oh my Lord.
Hey, who's right behind? Who's 34?
Czechoslovakia.
The Czechs. Hey, even the Klotsky Kings. The Klotsky Kings is not even doing as good as we are.
Bro, the freaking United Kingdom is under us. Germany is. I don't even know how Germany is this low.
Germany. What?
Yeah, they're low. Israel's into Turkey, for God's sakes, and India. There's a bunch of donkeys over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So if we're 33 this year, what number were we the past 2 or 3 years? Have we at least went up at all? Or we keep going down or what?
I'll tell you right now. So, let me see.
This is why the Department of Education had to be toppled right here.
Yeah.
So the United States, from 2019, we went up to 99.7 in 2024, the last one that happened. So I guess they don't do it every year, but they do it every couple of years. And then before that, in 2017, we had a A+ rating. Right now, I don't think we're at an A+ rating.
A+ rating. Oh, man. Yeah. Well, with all that being said, all right, let's get to Amazing's topic, and then hopefully Kenny shows up, and we'll go over Reprobate Mind a little bit. So amazing. You got a verse or something you want to bring up, or are you just kind of on that topic, or what?
Well, it's a few in particular. One, and I know this. I'm not trying to touch on like the debatable theological differences, right? Calvinism, predestination, all that. David said when his son unalive, I should go to him, but he should not come to me. He also prayed in Psalm 69 to pretty much blot the unrighteous out and do not let them dwell with the righteous. So,
Yeah.
Is it safe to say that according to the promise or the desire of God, and what is it? First Peter, God is not slack concerning his promises. He desires that all men be saved. So, being that we are flesh nature, right? We have the sin nature when we come into the world. I did wrong good. Say based upon, I'm going to say that particular passage in Psalms.
Hey, hold on. Amazing. Bring that Psalms up again. You cut out there for about 5 good seconds.
Psalms 69, I think verse 28.
Somebody pull that up and read it real quick.
Psalm 69, 28.
All right, Psalm 69, 28. Somebody pull it up and let's just
start at about maybe like go for the context, probably verse 23 or something like that.
All right, Psalm 69, 23, and just somebody get there and start reading. Guys, don't forget about the flash goal. This is not the regular goal. I'm telling you, this one does help with the algorithm if you can complete the task. I don't want to stop using them because the thing is, I do know that it's a small portion of people that kind of give to Descaled. You know, that's how it is in any, I'm going to say church so we understand what I'm saying. In any church, it's like 10%. It's 10 or 20% of the people that give the majority of funds. Nobody here is like begging anybody for money. I'm just trying to get the algorithm out, and I know that the flash goal does help with that. That's why they do it. So they'll look to see how many people's in your room, and they want to see if about 70 or 80% of the people in your room will give to this flash goal, because they know that there's a small amount of people that are given a lot of money to certain people's lives. So let's say you got a millionaire in your live, and every live they're giving you $100, $500. Let's say they do it every live. Well, it looks like your live is popular, but your live's not popular. You just got one person that's just giving you money. So what they're doing is they're like, okay, well, if this person is so popular, the majority of people in there is going to give to this flash goal. That's what it is. So maybe we shouldn't play one every day. Maybe that's the problem. What do you think, Dre? Maybe we should just do it every other day or something?
Let's go.
You know what I mean? Because if I keep putting it up there and it doesn't get complete, you know, then maybe it'll look like maybe that part will be negative. I don't know. Maybe it's
I see what you're saying.
Maybe it's better not to play it all the time. Tom, did we figure out how to send more than one? No, that's you know what? Matter of fact, every time that I've checked, it's only actually happened twice. So there has to be. I don't know how anyone is able to send more than one, because I read the little thing and it's like it's saying that nobody can send more than one. But I've seen it happen. For instance, right here, it says that we have to have 40 people send a corn. Well, twice when it was like, I think it was one time it was 20, and then one time it was 30, there should have been 20 names or 30 names. And out of the times that we've done it 2 times, there was not that many names. So I think on the 21, I think there was 17 names. And then on the 32 or whatever that number was, there was like 26 or 28 names. And that's only happened 2 times. So I know for a fact it can happen. I just don't know what they're doing, to be honest. I don't know how that's even possible. Norika, would you say? It's 1 per person. Yeah, no, but it has happened that a person gave more. I even screenshotted it. Dre, did I send it to you? I thought I did.
Yeah, you sent it to me.
And and it showed like it said you need 20 corn. Okay? And what happens is once that's achieved, you can go in there and it will show you who sent a corn. It'll show you. So there should be 20 people. But twice it's happened. Like, for instance, on that one that was supposed to be 20 people, there was only 17 people. So that means 3 were given by the same person, or 3 people gave twice. It wasn't 20 people. So even though it's supposed to be that way, I'm not sure how it's not always that way. I don't know. I don't understand it one bit. Yeah. Yes, because I gave more than 1. Yeah, there's people that can. But I'm telling you, I did go back and read, and it kind of sounds like that only 1 person or only 1 corn, like right now it's corn, only 1 corn can be given by 1 person. That's the way the rules sound. But I don't know. I found so far it's happened twice where that hasn't been the case. Yeah, all right. Did somebody find that? Psalm 69? Psalm 69, 23. Somebody got that?
I got it. Okay. It says, I'm going to start at 22, the verse before, because it's saying something. Let their table become a snare before them, and that which should have been for their welfare, let it become a trap. Let their eyes be darkened, that they see not, and make their loins continually to shake. Pour out thine indignation upon them, and let thy wrath, anger take hold of them. Let their habitation be desolate, and let none dwell in their tents. For they persecute him whom thou hast smitten, and they talk to the grief of those whom thou hast wounded. Is that enough?
Is that amazing? Is that it?
Hey, real quick, 3 more coins, guys. Oh, never mind. I looked at the wrong thing.
Oh, somebody said if you leave and come back, it'll let you get. so there's a way to. I mean,
I gave a coin from each one of my accounts. So
yeah, I don't know.
Let me see something. If I share it, last time it was letting me share, and then it let me put another one. Let me see.
I don't know. Somebody who said that. Bobcat. Bobcat said, I just did it. I don't know. Somebody try it, I guess. I'm not, listen, guys, you don't have to keep coming in and out. Maybe that person just tried to see if that would work. I don't know.
No, close the app if you're in the comments. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let me see. I'm going to do it on my other account. I'll tell you if it works. Mute.
I think I see where he wanted to go. It's in verse.
Okay, I just seen Christian give 2. I just seen it, so I don't know. I'm telling you, I think you have to click. You don't just send a corn. You have to click the purple thing up there. See if you can click it.
It didn't work for me on my other account, bro. Not even a little bit.
Yeah. Guys, if you've already given one, see if you click the purple thing up there with your finger and get, like Christian just gave another one. That's Christian gave 3. I'm sitting there watching. Listen, guys, when someone makes that number go up, it's a little purple icon shows it. You can't see it probably, but I can, and the picture of the person shows up. So it's not working for me. I don't know how Christian's doing it, but he just gave 3. It don't matter. We got 34, 10 seconds left. So I guess we're not going to make this one either. It's all right. Guys, nobody's obligated to give to that thing. Okay. So don't feel obligated. Of course, I'm going to ask, help, achieve, and it says not achieved. Yeah, I know. All right.
Let me do one.
Yeah, I know. I don't want no one to feel. We got 30. I think we got 36 out of 40. We only needed 4 more. But I don't want no one to feel obligated. I would like the algorithm to get pushed out further, but Breezy said my countenance falls when we don't achieve the goal. Oh man, it's all good. All right. Amazing. Did you hear Jennifer read that? Is that what you're talking about?
I had a doggone phone call came in, to be honest with you.
Oh.
But did it talk about let their name be blotted out and do not let them dwell amongst the righteous?
I didn't read down that far, but I do see where it says that. You want me to continue?
What verse is that, Jennifer? What verse is it?
Where it says
blotted out. Blotted out. The word blotted out, yeah.
28.
Huh?
28.
All right, so start at 25 and then read through 29. Hold on a second. Before you do that, hold on. I guess that's saint in Christ. What's the point of the gift? Still learning. Someone help. Man. All right. So the algorithm in TikTok, basically, if you want the content to be pushed out to more people, there's a bunch of little games that have to be played by each individual. So one of them is you should see an arrow button at the bottom of your screen, and you use that to share this live out to people in your phone, like your phone book, or to more people on TikTok to share it out. That's one. Another way is to tap the screen. So like basically where my face is right here. Hold on, see if I can do this better. Right there, right here in this box of mine, if you tap it with your finger, you'll see hearts going up. So that's another thing that you can do. And all these things do help with the algorithm just in a different way. The other one is gifts, like up here where it says, I don't know if you can see it. So you should see a gold star right here, and it'll say right now, I think it says 37 out of 40. Now you see like a little arrow. So the arrow is when you're given. Matter of fact, I got to redo that thing. But the arrow is when you're given the right now there should be lightning bolts. I'm gonna put it lightning bolts. When these little targets are achieved, it helps push the algorithm out. The other thing that's up there, you'll see a gold star, and the gold star is people who subscribe to the Descaled channel. The subscriptions help move the algorithm. And these are not the only way to give where the lightning bolts are. Down below, there are different kinds of gifts that you can give. And that helps there's a lot of things that help push the algorithm out. If you, like right here, it says, it's on the top, right up here, it says League D1, top 20%. Anytime you get that D League going to like I think it's C or B next or whatever, but the closer you get that league going to an A, which usually it's gifts that makes that thing better, you get pushed into a bigger bracket. Basically, the content gets pushed to more people. So I think your name is Saint in Christ. I hope I I mean, I kind of probably didn't answer your question perfectly, but that's the point of the gift. The gift is you pretty much saying, I like this live. I think more people should see it. So I'm giving gifts, or I'm playing these games on here because I want TikTok to know that they need to push this live out. Sigh. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Thanks for, man, no, you're good. All right. Jennifer, 25 to 29. Go ahead.
Let their habitation be desolate, and let none dwell in their tents, for they persecute him who thou hast, and they talk to the grief of those whom thou hast wounded. Add iniquity unto their iniquity, and let them not come into thy righteousness. Let them be blotted out of the book of the living, and not be written with the righteous. But I am poor and sorrowful. Let thy salvation, O God, set me up on high. And that's 29.
Yeah. All right. Amazing. What about it?
So these individuals that David is talking about, right? They apparently are wicked individuals. They're wicked. By his definition there. And now he's praying to let their names be blotted out. Now, with that, what comes to mind is when Jesus sent out the disciples and they came back rejoicing that the demons were subject to them, and Jesus said, hey, don't rejoice because of that, but rejoice that your names are written in the book of life. So we know that Judas, he was talking to all 12 of them, but he said, I chose 12 of you and one of you is a devil. So it's like God desires for all of us to be saved. Is it the fact that when we all come in, we all are, though we have the sin nature, we still are pure in heart, I suppose, if that's a good way to say it. And God desires that all men be saved, but if you don't become a child of God, born again from above, then it's like you were saying the other day, you going back to that dust, that place, or you gonna be because it appears that they already in the book.
Yeah, amazing. Are you driving you must be driving in a bad area. You keep breaking up. All right, maybe I shouldn't use that word. You must be in the bad area. My bad. You must be in the bad area. Yeah, Sai. Yeah, Sai. I appreciate that.
What about now?
Yeah, no, it's better now.
What about now?
Yeah, we can hear you better.
You hear what I said? You hear what I said?
Nah, you're cutting out again.
And we can't hear you, amazing.
Wow. What did you
Are you familiar like with the area you're at? Do you normally get bad reception right there? Do you know?
Hey, the folks on the moon have better reception than you.
We're over on Mars. It's got better reception.
Sai, right now we're not in a particular book. I mean, we did just read from Psalms, but amazing. The guy you see up here on the top. Well, he's on my right, top right. He's just talking about being blotted out. So we're just kind of going over that. Yeah, right now you sound better, but we'll see if it goes away.
You got me good?
Yeah,
okay,
sounds better.
Did you hear everything I said? I was saying how when You hear the part I said when Jesus sent them out and they came back rejoicing that the demons were subject to them, and he said, "Well, don't rejoice because of that. Be glad that the names are written." Because he said, "I chosen 12 of you, and one of you is the devil." So he said, "I chose your names are written in the Lamb's Book of Life." And so these individuals that David is talking about, they apparently were not righteous, and he is saying that they are in the Book of Life. Or is that? I mean, based upon what he said, Book of Life already contingent upon them receiving salvation.
I think he was quoting from Luke 10 when the 70 came back to him, was, tell him how, even demons, are scared of the name, right? But the Lord was like, don't rejoice because of that. Rejoice because your name is written in the book of life. Is that what you're talking about, Amazing?
Yeah. Am I better now?
A little bit, but I think kind of get to the point you're trying to make, because while you're talking, you're coming in and out. Like, just what's the point you're making?
I'm saying when you're born, are you already written in the Book of Life?
Oh, that's your question? When people are born, is their name written in the Book of Life?
Yes.
All right, and the reason you're saying that you believe maybe some aren't and some are is because of what verse in the Bible? Does anybody know what verse he's talking about?
This is I'm good now.
No. Try to tell us the verse again. Just say the verse.
What about now?
Yeah, what verse? What verse? That way. So
Better now?
what verse? Tell us the verse so we don't lose you.
He said, let their names be, what was it, 32? Let their names be blotted out of the book. These were unrighteous individuals.
Yeah. Hey, did anybody hear the book that he's in? I heard 32, but I don't know what book you're referring to.
I think he was going back to Psalm for what I bring.
Psalm 69.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Psalm 69. Okay. All right. Let me go to it myself.
Their names were unalive yet, but why would he? Well, like I say, I think he was speaking in future, but he was like right then that their names were written.
Yeah, let's do what we normally do, which is we'll start at 69:1 and we'll just kind of keep it in context all the way to 28, and we'll just do that because, for me, just to kind of just say a bunch of stuff and people are not understanding, like, not only what book are we reading from, but why I'm going to be saying what I'm saying. We'll just start at, just so y'all know, Amazing is asking a question about names being written in the book of life regarding people who are saved, people who are not saved. So we'll just go through some of those. So there's like a little context on what's already there before I start saying what I'm saying. So who can read starting at 1, Psalm 69:1?
Oh, I'm already there.
All right, so who's writing this?
It says to the chief musician upon Shoshannim,
Yeah.
a Psalms of David.
All right, so if it's a Psalm of David, is it pretty much David writing it or someone writing it for David?
Yes.
Pretty much. Okay? So if David is pretty a scribe, well, whether it's a scribe or not, it's still considered the person writing it, right? It doesn't mean that the person has to hold the pen themselves. Like if a king told his scribe, "Hey, write this down," it's David writing it. Okay? Not in the sense of him physically writing it, but back then they knew that this was David that put this on paper. All right. All right. All right, so somebody start at 69:1. Jennifer, you reading?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
It says, "Save me, O God, for the waters are come in unto my soul. I sink in deep mire, where there is no standing. I am come into deep waters, where the floods overflow me. I am weary of my crying. My throat is dry, mine eyes fail while I wait for my God. They that hate me without cause are more than the hairs of my head. They that would destroy me, being mine enemies, wrongfully are mighty. Then I restore that which I took not away. O God, thou knowest my foolishness, and my sins are not hid from thee. Let not them that wait on thee, O Lord God of hosts, be ashamed for my sake. Let not those that seek thee be confounded for my sake, O God of Israel. Because for thy sake I have borne reproach. Shame hath covered my face. I am become a stranger unto my brethren, and an alien unto my mother's children. For the zeal of thine house hath eaten me up, and the reproaches of them that reproach thee are fallen upon me. When I weep and chastened my soul with fasting, that was to my reproach. I made sackcloth also my garment, and I became a proverb to them. They that sit in the gate speak against me, and I was the song of the drunkards. But as for me, my prayer is unto thee, O Lord, in an acceptable time, O God. In the multitude of thy mercy, hear me. In the truth of thy salvation, deliver me out of the mire, and let me not sink. Let me be delivered from them that hate me, and out of the deep waters. Let not the water flood overflow me, neither let the deep swallow me up, and let not the pit shut her mouth upon me. Oh, wow. Hear me, O Lord, for thy loving kindness is good. Turn unto me according to the multitude of thy tender mercies, and hide not thy face from the servant, for I am in trouble, Hear me speedily. Draw nigh unto my soul, and redeem it. Deliver me because of mine enemies. Thou hast known my reproach, and my shame, and my dishonor. Mine adversaries are all before thee. Reproach hath broken my heart, and I am full of heaviness. And I looked for some to take pity, but there was none. And for comforters, but I found none. They gave me also gall for my meat, and in my thirst they gave me vinegar to drink. Let their table become a snare before them, and that which should have been for their welfare, let it become a trap. Let their eyes be darkened that they see not, and make their loins continually to shake. Pour out thine indignation upon them, and let thy wrathful anger take hold of them. Let their habitation be desolate, and let none dwell in their tents. For they persecute him whom thou hast smitten, and they talk to the grief of those whom thou hast wounded. Add iniquity unto their iniquity, and let them not come into thy righteousness. Let them be blotted out of the book of the living, and not be written with the righteous. But I am poor and sorrowful. Let thy salvation, O God, set me up on high. Is that enough, brother?
Yeah, that's fine. So right here where it says, this is Psalms 69:21. It says, they gave me also gall for meat. Oh, hold on. No, I didn't go far enough. Hold on. All right, 18. I'm sorry, 18. 69:18. He says, draw nigh unto my soul and redeem it. Deliver me because of my enemies. I'm going to say something real quick about this. Look, I'm not trying to point the finger or laugh, but when people say that the body is the soul, and they're very confused about whether the body itself is the soul or not. Is there a distinction between soul and body? This is how you know the soul. Whoever you are, no offense, okay? You're unlearned when it comes to spirit, soul, and body. Somewhere along the way, you have not studied the Bible enough, because you should be able to see that spirit, soul, and body, those three things are not the same thing. Okay. And so for David to say, save my soul, he says right here in 18, draw nigh unto my soul and redeem it. Deliver me because of my enemies. Well, the Bible says that we've been redeemed. Our soul has already been redeemed through Christ. But at the same time, while we're redeemed, it tells us that our body, talking about the flesh, is enmity. So how can your flesh, your body, both be redeemed and enmity to God? It's not. It's because the soul that has the spirit has been redeemed, but your flesh has not been redeemed. It's still enmity to God. But your soul has been redeemed. I don't understand how people are still confused about whether your soul is the body or your body is the soul. Your physical body has not been redeemed, period. But your soul has. You have been redeemed through Christ, because your soul doesn't have a dead spirit anymore. It has a resurrected spirit. So your soul has been redeemed. So here, David is crying out for his soul to have redemption. Now we are on this side of the cross, and our soul has been already redeemed. So if your soul has already been redeemed, but the Bible says that our flesh is enmity to God, which is your body, then they're not the same thing. All right, but that's 18. All right, so 19, He says, thou hast known my reproach and my shame and my dishonor. My adversaries are all before me. So he's talking about adversaries being all before him. And he says, reproach hath broken my heart. I am full of heaviness. I looked for some to take pity, but there was none. And for comforters, I found none. They gave me gall for meat, and in my thirst, they gave me vinegar. Now, we know that meat is supposed to be honey or fruit. And for drink, it's supposed to be the living water. Where here, he got gall and vinegar. And we know that they threw sour wine / vinegar at Jesus's lips whenever he said, I thirst. And it says, let their table become a snare for them. So he's talking about these people, and he calls them adversaries. So he's talking about adversaries here. So we get to 28, it says, let them be blotted out, talking about the adversaries that's against David. He says, let them be blotted out of the book of the living and not be written with the righteous. But I am poor and sorrowful. Let thy salvation, O God, set me up on high. I will praise the name of God with a song, and I will magnify him with thanksgiving. He says, this also shall please the Lord, better than an ox or a bullock that hath horns and hoofs. And it says, the humble shall see this and be glad, and your heart shall live that seek God. For the Lord heareth the poor and despises not the prisoners. Okay, so notice notice how some people want to try to keep only what they physically see with their physical eyes. They only want to keep that. So when we go to the book of James, what does James say that pure religion is? Anybody?
Take care of the widow,
Yeah.
the orphan, and keep yourself unspotted from the world.
Right. So he talks about that being pure religion. When Jesus comes and Jesus is conducting the Beatitudes, he starts saying things like, blessed are the poor, blessed are the meek. He starts saying these kind of things. Here, look what David says. David is talking about himself for like 18 verses. And then he continues and he starts talking about adversaries that are against him. And then right here in 33, he says, for the Lord heareth the poor and despises the prisoners. So the poor here is talking about people that don't have any money. Is that what the poor is talking about? And the prisoners is talking about people that committed crimes and went to prison. That's what this is saying? No, that's not what it's saying. He's saying that he's crying out for deliverance, that he's crying out from a prison, that he's poor. He's asking these people to feed him, but they gave him gall and they gave him sour drink. He's talking from that perspective that Jesus was pointing to when Jesus said, blessed are the poor, blessed are the meek. He's crying out for the thing that Jesus is saying that he's going to free people from. Right? Y'all with me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So he says, let the heaven and
Unknown
earth.
caller.
He says, let the heaven and earth praise him, the seas and everything that moveth therein, for God will save Zion and will build the cities of Judah that they may dwell there and have it in possession. He's crying from his heart. He starts talking about poor people and people in prison. He's not talking about people who've committed crimes or are in jail. He's not talking about people that don't have physical money. And he definitely didn't just change the subject and start talking about that God will save Zion and will build the cities of Judah. He's not talking about physical cities. We are the city that have been saved through Zion. We are the nation that has been saved through Mount Zion. We're it. It's not talking about poor people that are broke, they don't have cash, He's not talking about people that are in physical prisons. He's talking about people that need to be set free from the prison within their dead body. And God said that he was going to offer his own soul for us. So when God offered his own soul, we were set out of prison, no longer in bondage. We are no longer poor. We're kings in his name. And we are the built up city that is fenced in. We're it because our heart is the soil of that land. So, 36, and it says, the seed also of his servants shall inherit it, and they that love his name shall dwell therein. It says right here, the seed also of his servants shall inherit it. This seed is talking about Christ. And because Christ is the first fruits to inherit it, we inherit it with him as co-heirs. All right, so notice David is asking for a destruction of his adversaries. And remember when when Jonah was asked to go pray for Nineveh, what did Jonah want to happen to Nineveh?
He wanted to destroy it, bro.
Yeah.
Destroy it?
He wanted God to blot him out, to destroy him. So that's why he didn't go minister the good news. Because all these people in the Old Testament they all knew that if somebody speaks the truth of God to someone, they're going to come alive. They knew. That's why John the Baptist, when the scribes and the Pharisees came as he was baptizing the people, he said, who warned you? Somebody go to that real quick. Somebody go to that just real quick. They all knew that if they got a warning, then now they have a chance if they got the warning. Somebody pulled it up. Who's got it? Anybody? Or who's getting there? No? Nobody? Or y'all don't know what I'm talking about. J.A., what'd you say?
All of them. So Luke, Matthew.
Luke 3:7. Somebody look at Luke 3:7. There's a bunch of these in there. I was hoping we'd be a little quicker on the draw today. Y'all gonna make me look it up.
Luke 3:7 says,
I got it. You said Luke 3:7?
Yeah.
Luke 3:7. And he, talking about Jesus, said to the crowds who came out to be baptized by him, you brood of vipers, who warned you to flee from the coming wrath?
Yeah. It's just funny to see this attitude. Who was that just read?
Sai.
Hey, what's up, man? I didn't even know you came up here. My bad.
It's all good, man.
Yeah, okay. So, Sai, you Christian?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I converted.
He said I converted. What'd you convert from?
Islam.
How long? How long ago?
Man, this was 2014. So
okay, so it's been a minute.
About 10 years. Yeah.
It's been. Anybody know Sai? Sai, you know anybody here?
No, not really.
friends with Saba.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, brother Alex Evangelista, he shared this with me, and he was like, check him out.
Okay.
So just hop on here.
Yeah, okay, cool, man. Yeah, but look at John's attitude. Who warned you? It's crazy because it's like, in this very weird way, we want everybody to be saved, okay? We want them to be. But it's kind of like if we know them a little bit, we don't want them to be saved. It's very weird because Jonah didn't have to know the people of Nineveh personally, but he knows of them. Do you understand? He knows that these people are not people of God. Like, they're straight sinners. So if God would have came to Jonah and said, hey, Jonah, it's time to go to heaven. Who's coming and who's not? Lord, everybody's coming, Lord, except for Nineveh. That's what Jonah would have said. Lord, we're all here, Lord. Even those Gentiles are not bad. But Nineveh, Lord, no, they shall perish where they lay. Okay, Jonah, thank you for your service. I'm about to rain brimstone and fire. Yes, Lord, they deserve it. That's kind of the attitude. So, so David's doing the same thing. Lord, these people, I asked for this, and they fed me. Lord. Matter of fact, let me just read it. So he says, let them be blotted out of the book of the living and not be written with the righteous. Same attitude. Same attitude as Jonah. Same attitude as John the Baptist. Who warned you? How dare you even come here? And matter of fact, John may not have had a personal relationship with these scribes and Pharisees, but he knows them. He knows that they're all about something else, not about people's lives. They're about themselves, pretty much sinners. They don't have the love of God in them, so therefore they deserve to be blotted out. Look at even the disciples of Jesus. They said, Lord, we saw. Hold on. Said, Lord, we saw these men casting out demons in your name, and we forbade them. And Jesus is like, oh, really? He's like, yeah. Should we send fire from heaven? Jesus is like, oh, crap. Do you not know what spirit you are of? He's like, because they're like, like Elijah did. Right? You have the 50 and the captain come, and Elisha goes, if I be a man of God, let fire come down. Boom. And another 50 and the captain, hey, man of God. Oh, why do you call me man of God? I tell you what, if I am a man of God, let fire come. Boom. And here comes the other one. Hey, bro, look, I'm not sure why the other ones died, but you don't got to kill me. I'm just letting you know that they're calling for you over here. You don't think he wanted to say it again? Of course he did.
Right.
Okay. But the point is, there's this Old Testament thing. And for some reason, people kind of lose focus or don't understand why all these great men are wanting to kill everyone that don't believe in God. And Jesus gives the answer. Do you not know what spirit you are of? So even David saying what he's saying is wrong. Even David's saying what he's saying. But if you don't understand that David is representing Christ in a lot of parts of the Bible, even right here, okay, right here, where it talks about him giving him gall for milk, giving him sour stuff to drink instead of living water. Even when Jesus said on the cross, I thirst, and they give him sour drink, right? If you're not able to see what that is, it's because Jesus is God, and nothing in this world can quench the thirst that the living water gives. So when Jesus took on sin and said, I thirst, it was referring to him finally getting to a point, like it's starting to happen. You got to remember, he's taken on the sin of the world. He's taken all of it upon himself, the soul of God. He's taken all of it. And when he said, I thirst, it's because he became sin. Mm-hmm. And when he became sin, he was thirsty for living water. That's what he was thirsting for. So the one that claimed to have all the living water, he keeps claiming he's got this water. You drink of the water that I have, and you'll have everlasting life. And the lady's like, what? Give me this water that you speak of. But it's a spiritual water. And then so when Jesus became sin, he literally was thirsty. And people, it's real hard for people to fathom that. But he wasn't just saying, oh, my body's thirsty. Somebody, please. It's so crazy that you think that's all he's saying. No, there's a lot of wild things that he said. One of the biggest ones that drive people nuts is the fact that Jesus said, why have you forsaken me? And we all should know that he's quoting from the Old Testament, but he says, why have you forsaken me? So they're like, oh, wow. He said he's thirsty. It don't matter what Jesus said. Anybody that doesn't understand who he is are going to twist what he's saying. But those who are in the word knows what he's saying and why he's saying it. So why am I saying all that? Because Amazing is bringing up Psalm 69:28, where David says, talking about his adversaries, he says, let them be blotted out of the book of the living and not be written with righteousness. All right, so let me go. Let me go to somebody go to Revelation 3. Somebody go to Revelation 3.
What verse?
I'm not sure. I don't remember. Hold on.
10. Talking about when they say they should, I will not blot them out of my book. Revelation 3, 10, 11, I think.
No, that's not it. The one that you're talking about, Amazing. Mm-mm.
Oh, it's 5. It's 5. Hold on. No, it's Revelation 3:5. Somebody read 5.
All right, 5. In the same way, the victor will be dressed in white clothes, and I will never erase his name from the book of life, but I will acknowledge him. I will acknowledge his name before my Father and before his angels.
Okay, so the King James Version uses the same words. It says, and I will not blot out his name out of the book of life. Okay. Let's see. Oh my Lord. All right, read Revelation 20, 11 and 12.
20, 11, and 12?
Yeah.
All right, 11, 12. 11 and 12, Revelation 20. And it says, then I saw a great white throne and one seated on it. Earth and heaven fled from his presence, and no place was found for them. I also saw the dead, the great and the small, standing before the throne, and books were opened. Another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged according to their works by what was written in the books. There's multiple books just based off what we're reading here.
Yeah. So, but notice what it says. It says, and the books were opened, and another book was open, which is the book of life. So right here, he's talking about the book of life, right? So even though there's other books, the book of life is here. So he says, which is the book of life. And it says, and the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. How come the dead is going to be judged according to their works? Does anybody know?
Because they're not alive in Christ.
But no, my question is, why are the dead judged according to their works?
They don't have the cover.
And never repented.
No, but my question is, why are the dead judged according to their works? See, this is why I don't talk. This is why I don't talk a whole lot about the Book of Revelation, because it takes the entire Bible. It takes an understanding to, as a mature Christian, to start talking about the Book of Revelation. So my question is, why are the dead judged according to their works?
Right there where you went to, and John said, bring forth therefore works meet for repentance. Right there where he said who won.
Hey, brother, I want to kind of take it, this kind of correlates with what Paul kind of said, where he said everyone will be judged according to their work. And this is what Paul was talking about. Whatever foundation you lay upon, your works will be judged. You will go through the fire. Though your spirit will be saved, your works will be judged and taken through the fire.
Yeah, Sai. So what's the works that Paul's talking about?
Self-righteousness. Self-righteous.
Hold on, Sai.
Unbelief.
Hold on a second, Sai. What works is Paul talking about?
Just from my understanding of that book in the Bible, Paul is really talking about the works that we do for the Lord, the works that we do according to what we hear.
Like what? Like what?
Whether it's okay, you're asking me some deep questions.
No, it's not. It's not deep. It's not deep at all. What kind of works is Paul talking about? Give me an example.
So preaching the gospel.
Okay. All right. So notice you're calling preaching the gospel a work, right? Right?
Yes.
Okay. Does your flesh know how to preach the gospel?
No.
Okay. So what kind of work are you talking about?
I'm gonna have to think on that.
It's a spiritual work.
Spiritual work.
You understand? There's two kinds of works in the Bible: a work that your flesh does, and a work that God does. Did you know that?
Yes, I did know that.
All right. So why did it say that when the book of life was open, that the dead were judged by their works?
There is no baptism for dead, so
No, it's not about baptism. I don't want to. Let's not throw all the. Listen again. Why does it say that the dead were judged by their works?
I would like for you to explain it, brother.
Does anybody want to guess?
Is it because everything that will be added upon this foundation will be tried?
No.
It was dead works.
Right, because it's dead works, guys.
It's dead works.
That means that they were given to the Lord out of their flesh. So when people take you to the law and say you have to do all these things, it would be your flesh doing all those things, not your spirit. If someone is telling you that you have to do this to be right with God, they're telling your flesh to be good. And if your flesh is good, those are dead works. We do not enter heaven because our flesh was so good. We enter heaven because Jesus was so good.
That's good.
So when it says that the book of life was open and the dead were judged by their works, it's saying that the only works that they had to give was dead, like that of Cain. Dead, no good. The only thing that we have to offer God is the gift that he gave us in the first place, who is Christ, the sacrificial lamb. So if you don't come to him with the work of Christ, my friend, you are going to be found on your back wanting. You will be in lack, which means you never received faith to begin with. You've been preaching to people that it was based on your works, because you don't understand that there's two kinds of works in the Bible. It's the works of your flesh and the works of your spirit. And your flesh will not be able to inherit the kingdom. All right, who's confused or who understands?
That makes sense. So pretty much, just taking it back to what the Pharisees do, the Pharisees, they did everything according to the law. So are you talking about the works that they did was in flesh according to the law?
All right, so did the law,
I'm understanding it.
Right, could the law resurrect your spirit?
No.
Why not?
Because the law was just it was just a revelation of our sin, something that we couldn't fulfill.
Right, because the law shows you the fruit of the tree. It doesn't show you the root, it shows you the fruit.
That's good.
Okay, so when Jesus came and it says that Jesus fulfilled the law, that doesn't mean that Jesus did good. It doesn't mean that Jesus didn't break the law. That's not all it means. That's what people think. They're like, see, Jesus fulfilled it, meaning he did the law. He did what the law told him to do. If Jesus is God, does God have to fulfill his own law, or does he just walk it out by accident?
No.
Walks it out.
He just walks it out because he is the law. It's crazy that people cannot see that God is the law. Why do you think he gave it to begin with? Because that's what he is. He's perfect. He didn't make something up and say, oh, man, this is not going to be easy, guys, but I'm going to try. No. He put himself down on stone tablets. And he said, all right, guys, this is what you have to do. So Moses gave the law to the people and said, hey, your fruit needs to resemble this. But if the tree has a dead root, can the tree ever produce that fruit if the root is dead?
No, sir.
No. So we have to take the seed that was promised to us in Genesis, and now that seed is rooted on the inside of us, and that seed, excuse me, is the root of what you are now. And because your root has been made perfect, the fruit will be natural. So when Moses gave the law and said, guys, look, this should be the fruit of you. We're all trees, and this has to be the fruit. And Jesus said, no, that's not the reason, Moses, that we gave that to you. We gave that to you is because when Christ came, Christ was going to revive what the law was supposed to be, but it couldn't be because of man. So Jesus said, I'm the vine and ye are the branches. If Jesus is the vine, then that means that he was the seed that was planted in the good ground. He grew, and then because he was able to grow, because he's the first fruits, he was able to graft us in to him, the tree of life. So now that we're grafted into him, we have a new root through him. And so the fruit, which is the byproduct, the fruit is not the actual root, it's the byproduct of the root. So if you're not grafted into Christ, but you have the law, you will never be able to do what the law is telling you to do because it's not complete without Christ. It's not complete. So when he came, he fulfilled it. And how he fulfilled it is he took it back to the beginning. So he said, Moses said, if you commit adultery, you sin. So what is he pointing out? The fruit of sin, right? The fruit.
Yep.
He says, but I say, even if you think it, you sinned. He's saying if your spirit on the deepest part of you, your soul, your thoughts, before the action, which is the root, before the action comes out, your thought made it sin before it comes out. But if you're not saved, how can you have perfect thoughts?
Come on.
You can't. So he completed the tree by being the root of the whole system. So a person who is dead in God's eyes, even though people kept saying, well, they're dead because they're not saved. They're dead. No. All the truths have to be there. Obviously, they're dead because they're not saved. But the reason that he's judging them by their works is because their works were dead, which means it came from the flesh. Because that's all he has to judge them by, guys. That's all he has. He's like, all right, what do you got? Look. Oh, man. Trash. Next. What do you got? Next. You're all dead. And your works are dead too. So you have people that try to put other people under the law and make them believe that it's by your works. No, my friend. No, it is not. If it was based on your physical works, you would be dead in front of God, period. It's because you receive Christ that you're alive, and the works that you're focused on is not don't sin. That's not the work. Your work is whether or not you're bringing people to life. That's your work. Because it's the Christ in you that produces these kinds of works. Christ is not telling you, stop sinning. He's saying, make disciples. Are you making disciples or not? If you're not making disciples, what in the world are you offering him? What are you offering? I told people to be good. Trash. Next. Dead works. Works, nonetheless. It is works, but it's dead, my friend. It's dead in God's eyes. All right. Okay, so that was, and I'm not trying to digress to these things, but we're there, so I'm just going over it. But the whole point of this is we're talking about being blotted out. But in order for you to understand what the book is and the blotting out, you need to understand, other things first before this. So that's why I'm going over it. So he says, and there was another book, the book of life, and the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. Their works. Their works are dead because they're dead. So when you come to Christ and it says you'll be judged by your works, is it dead works that he's judging you by? If a person presents himself to God, what works is he looking for? Is it the same as the dead? No. What's he looking for?
The works of the Spirit.
Right, which is Christ. Which is Christ. So he's looking for his son.
The born again experience.
Right. He's looking for his son. You are either a co-heir with his son or you're not. So these people who are considered dead right here, they're not born again. They're dead. So when people try to mix it, and say, oh, well, I am born again, but you can't just go around sinning, you're missing it. You are 100% missing the entire thing of the Bible. You're missing it, man.
So is this why they say there is no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus?
Right, because if you are in Christ, then your works are based on him. It's not about stop sinning. That's not the freaking work. The work is to be loved to people. That's the work. But it's not the same kind. It doesn't come from the flesh. This is where people keep getting confused. No, man, right here, works. And they keep pointing at works. What work? Is it a dead work? If they come into agreement that the work comes from Christ, now where's the disagreement?
Come on.
Where's the disagreement now? If the work comes from the Spirit and not the flesh, then stop producing works from your flesh because it means nothing. You trying to be good in your flesh is a dead work. Period. The whole Bible says this, but when you're carnally minded, because you got some idiot that's being beguiled by Satan to make you believe that your flesh can do things, you can do it. So, we just don't do nothing? We just don't do nothing? So we could just go sinning and sinning? Look where their mind is at. What are you talking about? They're so focused on the flesh, it would have been better off for them to be living in the days of Moses. They'd be better off over there. Because you're over here under this covenant and you're missing it. Big time. All right, let's do one more because there's several we could do. Matter of fact, let me go back to Psalms 69 real quick. Let me go back to Psalm 69. Okay, never mind. All right, 28. He says, let them, this is David talking about his adversaries. And he says, let them, the adversaries of David, let them be blotted out of the book of the living and not be written in the righteous. So let's do one more. 21. 21. All right, so let's go to Revelation 21, 6, okay? And it says, and he said unto me, it is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. And then it says, he that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. People use this to tell you that you need to overcome sin in your flesh.
That's crazy.
Because they don't continue to read like vipers like they are. Look, it says right here in 8, but the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable, and the murderers, and whoremongers, sorcerers, idolaters, liars, shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. And there came unto me one of the 7 angels, which had 7 vials full of 7 last plagues, and talked with me, saying, come hither, I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife. So it says right here, watch, but the fearful and unbelieving. Notice the different type of sins that's mentioned. This is the one they like to go to right here. Whoremongers, idolaters, liars. Have you ever lied? Have you ever lied? You better stop lying. Bro, that's not what this is talking about, bro. That's not what this is talking about. This is not talking about, like, for instance, let's say this, so this cup I'm holding right here is a 20 ounce. Okay. It's 20 ounces. But if I told you it was 24 ounces, just maybe so I can look cool, I don't know why I would, but if I go, man, this is a 24 ouncer, isn't that a lie if it's 20 ounces? Isn't that a lie? Mm-hmm. Is that the kind of lie this is talking about right here? People will say, yeah, because it has the word liar. No, bro. No, this is what I'm talking about. The Old Testament is going to show you what these things in the New Testament are talking about. So whatever carnal-minded person is listening, especially the shadow watchers, I know you're there, please listen up. I guarantee you use this. You don't know what you're talking about because you're a liar. So let me show you what this is talking about. He says, 7, he says, he that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. And then it goes to who is not going to overcome. And they think this is talking about actions of sin in this world. That's not what this is talking about. So he says, but the fearful, you know who the fearful are? The ones that do not put their faith in Christ alone, but their flesh. That's the fearful. How could the fearful, and watch this, how in the world, the only way you can misunderstand this is you just don't know the Bible as much as you're claiming. You're a liar. Stop lying to people. You don't know what you're talking about. It says right here, fearful and unbelieving. How could fearful and unbelieving be in the same category as a lie, referring to this being a 24 ounce rather than a 20 ounce? How is a spiritual issue the same as a physical issue? It's not. It's not the same thing. Look, he says, and I will call them, and he shall be my son. But the fearful and the unbelieving, if you don't believe in what Christ did, that's who it's talking about. Sin doesn't send people to hell. Unbelief does. Fear and unbelief. When you have fear and you say, I don't sit in heavenly places, and I say, why not? Well, because I'm still working on my flesh, they tell you. They're not going to use those words, but they're saying they're not perfect yet. You know why? You still think you're naked and ashamed? You're not covered by Christ? Do you know why? Because you've let Satan come in and swindle you, make you believe that you lack something. And because you believe your flesh, you're in fear. But God didn't give you a spirit of fear. So the fact that you're in fear shows that the root, something's wrong with the root. Something's wrong. I don't sit in heavenly places. Every week or two, I hear somebody tell me this. Why do you say I sit in heaven? Bro, I'm bad. I'm so bad. Oh, my friend. How you been beguiled. The Bible makes it clear that our flesh is enmity with God. That's true. But if you have been born again, he did not give you a spirit of fear. So where is this fear coming from? From your flesh. And the reason that you're easily beguiled to believe that you're not sitting in heavenly places is because you allowed Satan in a form of a friend. It's your own friend, for God's sakes. Your own friend came to you and murdered you, and you thought your friend was helping. No, he murdering you by the day, by making you believe that your flesh is important when it's your spirit. God does not look on the outer appearance of a man. That's not just saying God doesn't look at your flesh like with his eyeballs. It's saying he doesn't use the flesh to determine who you are. He uses your heart. So while you're trying to get your flesh to behave more, he's looking at your heart. You are not going to be one of the dead that is standing there, not born again, and he's looking at your works. How are you mixing these two up as a believer? So he says, but the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable, that's talking about someone who's not born again. If you're not born again, you're abominable, period. It says murderers. Do you know who murderers? I just talked about one. People who think you're supposed to be under the law, and they come and tell you that you still lack. Instead of covering you with Christ, they cover you with sin and say, look what God sees. That's the murderer. This is not talking about people who physically murder. It's talking about people who come and steal the word from you. It says the murderers and the whoremongers. This ain't talking about you going to a sex brawl. This is not talking about that. It's talking about that you come into covenant with something other than God. That's what it's talking about. And it says sorcerers. This is talking about, come on, do we got to go all the way back to the Old Testament? This is talking about a different will, not God's will, a different will other than God. That's sorcery, where you play mind games with people for fun. That's sorcery. That's witchcraft. You put people in fear and say, hey, do you still sin? Well, yeah, I do. That's the kind of sorcery it's talking about. Of the tongue, even the kind where people are trying to like summon Satan, those two, okay? But it says, and idolaters. What's an idolater? What is that? Anybody know?
someone who worships idols,
Right.
statue.
Right.
Right.
So what idol or statue remains the same from the very beginning? So let's say we go back 100 years. Could we find a physical statue that someone worshipped? Could we? Okay, so let's say we go another 200 years back. Can we find a different looking idol or image? It's not the same as the one we found. It's 200 years older. Could we find something different?
Yep.
If we keep doing this every 300-400 years, and I got all those idols and put them beside each other, they won't even resemble each other. That's because those physical things is not the idol the Bible's talking about. It's talking about your flesh. The flesh is the graven image that you're not supposed to worship. Your flesh, graven, dead image. Your flesh is the dead thing. How you get creative and make a physical thing and whatever, it's your flesh. You're worshiping your flesh. Period. That's the idol. That's the graven image. And you think everything, all these physical things, you can worship this. Look, I can worship this, a little chess piece. Okay, that could be a graven image. And no. All those things become false, quote unquote, images, false idols because you're in your belly. Paul says these people are haters of the cross, for their belly is their God. All these things, these physical fake gods that you see, come from a person. Which comes from their flesh, because you're worshiping yourself. That is the idol.
That's good.
It is the image, the graven image. Satan, the Bible says, talks, in the 10 Commandments, and it talks about graven images. The 10 Commandments are the things that Satan did to become, the thing that Lucifer did to become Satan. He broke all those. All of them. You go through them very slowly and you'll see that what God is telling you to do is not to be like your father. That's what all that's pointing to. Don't be like your father. Be like God. Don't be like your father. That's why God called Moses' people your people. Your people. They're all they were all dead. All of them. Only by faith God was able to move in their life. Not because they became born again. They didn't become born again. They were born again by faith. But they were born again in the sense of by faith, not through faith. We're on this. What's up, Kenny? What's going on?
Hey, not much. I didn't mean to interrupt you. But is that kind of like I brought up the topic reprobate yesterday? Does that kind of go along?
Yeah, matter of fact, I'll try to do both of them because they're going to reflect on their own. But let me say this real quick for Amazing, because he was bringing up blotting out of the Bible. So matter of fact, that goes into reprobate mind actually. So I'm saying all this, okay, and we'll just leave it there because I'm telling you, I can go forever on both of these topics. But Amazing's bringing up, guys, give me a second, guys. All right. Okay. So he brought up Psalm 69, 28 is the stickler verse, but it's David asking or having a conversation with God, and he says there are these adversaries, and he says, "Hey, Lord, come on now, I'm your favorite. To be honest, I'm God's favorite, but this is David back in the day. So he says he's God's favorite, but whatever. We'll have that debate when I get up there. But the point is, he's saying, hey, God, you know I'm your favorite. Just blot him out. Just blot him out of the book, he says. And then we get to Revelation, and it talks about that a book of life is opened. So why would a book of life be open for dead people? So are their names, is everybody's name written in the book of life? That's the question that was brought up. So remember, all the names will be written in the book of life. All names are written in there. All. Because God doesn't want, he says that he doesn't want none to perish. So everybody's name is written down in the book of life because they have a chance. But it's based on them. It's based on them. But when the Bible starts talking about God blotting them out, that's because he gave them over to a reprobate mind. He gave them over to it. And nobody can make that choice. Not even us. God gave us dominion in this world, and he gave us dominion to choose. We can choose God or not. But once we make our mind up and we say, no, that's it, God knows when a person's mind is fully made up. He knows. And we don't even have the power to remove ourselves from the book of life. The only power we have is the choice not to receive God. And when God knows that someone made that decision, he gives them over to a reprobate mind. And once you're given over to a reprobate mind, you want nothing to do with God. People make this so hard. Let me tell you something. If you ever meet someone that is now, I'll make it real simple. Let's say they cuss you out, tell you you're stupid. I can't believe you're a Christian. That's the dumbest fairy tale I ever heard in my life. And they reject God in this way. I am telling you right now, that is a pretty good sign. I'm not saying that it's a for sure sign because nobody can determine that. But when someone lives a life however they want and they do not care, I'm not talking about people who try to hide it. Listen, do not judge people yourself. Don't do that. There are people that will still have some kind of issue in their life and they try to hide it. Why do you think they're hiding it? Does anybody know why people hide stuff? Huh?
Fear of judgment.
Well, no, for the most part, they're embarrassed. That's why. They're embarrassed.
Right.
Okay. If somebody is embarrassed, guys, they don't have a reprobate mind. A person that has a reprobate mind don't care. They'll do it in front of you. They don't care anymore. So be careful on trying to judge someone who is claiming that they're saved. And then so we'll say, no, they come to you as a wolf in sheep's clothing. Yeah, yes, there are going to be people who are false. Okay, that is true. What I'm saying is, don't be God and put yourself in that position and say you know who is saved and who's not. No, you don't. There's only one book of life, one. There's only one. And God is the only one that knows how to read it. And so when you start telling, oh, no, you'll know them by their fruits and do all this, and you become the judge, those verses are not given to us so you can be the judge, that you're going to judge who's going to hell and who's going. That's not why it's given to you. Okay? I don't know why you would even use that to say you know who's going to heaven or hell. No. Don't do that. It's just when we read verses that is trying to show you, hey, look out for these kind of people, look out for them. The first way that you can look out is to start getting familiar with the word. The more you get familiar with the word, the more you can tell who's acting what kind of way, why they're acting. You'll start discerning it. But if you're coming to the table with fire and brimstone, like everybody I just went over, Lord, blot them out, Lord, blot them out. There's snakes in the grass. When you start acting like that, my friend, do you not know what spirit you are of? You went too far with this. You're not God. You're not Elisha. You're not going to send fire from heaven because you don't like somebody or because they're hating on you. Look, I have people hate on me all the time. And when I say all the time, if you look up that word all in the Greek, it means all. They hate on me all the time. I ain't never found such haters in my life. But when you start talking about the Bible, there are Christians. Christians are more hateful than gangsters, for God's sakes. If a gangster ever came up to me and was like, "Say, man, what you know about the Bible?" All of a sudden, they'll keep it real with you. All of a sudden, and they won't hate you. But a Christian, someone who comes in the name of a Christian, the Bible says you'll know if they're my disciple because they know how to love one another. Well, if you're gossiping about somebody, you're not loving them. So am I supposed to say, "Lord, blot them out of your book"? Is that how am I supposed to act? Because if that's how I'm supposed to act, how come I don't want to act like that then? I'm not going to act like that. The Bible says we're supposed to love them anyway. Now, I'll call somebody out and say, hey, bro, like, and I've done it before where I know someone just a very hateful, like, very hateful person, period. And I'll say, hey, I'll just tell them, don't respond because I done heard all the crap you said about me. I'll say that, but I'm not going to sit there and talk bad about them. But I will call out the behavior and say, hey, I really don't care what you think because all you do is run your mouth about me. Straight up. But that's not me talking bad about them. I'm just letting them know, hey, like, bro, just move on. And you hear the phrase, keep my name out your mouth. People that are hateful instead of loving, they will not keep your name out of their mouth. They can't stand that you get a lot of attention. So therefore, we're going to go back to our flesh and I'm going to use the tactics of the flesh and hate. Well, that doesn't come from God, does it? No, it doesn't. Okay. You'd get more attention if you knew more Bible and stop lying. If you would just, if you would just stop lying to people about, the Bible, then you wouldn't be mad at nobody. But because you've been found on your back numerous amount of times, found on your back wanting, now you're mad at everybody. But you started the issue by lying to people saying you know a lot about the Bible. And that's why you're mad. Be mad at yourself. Don't be mad at somebody else because you lied, and now everybody's like, I don't think you know what you're talking about. I think they know what they're talking about a little bit more. Oh, hold on, who is that? Oh, I'm saying all that is because is my attitude supposed to be like David or like the disciples or like Jonah? Am I supposed to just go around making sure that people's names get blotted out? No, you're not supposed to act like that. Know you not what spirit you are of? You'll know if they're my disciples, if they love one another. You cannot help it if someone doesn't use love with you, but you can help it if you love somebody instead of hating on them. Don't backbite and hate. Leave them alone. Just leave them alone for God's sakes. So,
amen.
So blotting. Okay, so blotting out of the Bible. The only way your name can be blotted out is because it was already there. That's how. Okay, but I shouldn't say that. Okay, I'll just say this. If you don't know, guys, I hope you do. But if you don't know, Jesus is the Lamb's book of life. Who didn't know that? He's it. He's the book. The Word of God is the book. Him. They're not going to have a physical book up there, guys. Let me ask you this. Are they going to have a physical Bible? Am I going to have the King James Version in heaven? Huh?
Knowing you, yes, but no.
Okay, so we're not going to have, I'm not going to be arguing with someone about what version Bible I have. At that day, at that glorious day, when we see Christ for who he is and we become what he is and we will know who he is and what we are, we'll know the fullness of it. When that day happens, I'm not going to be holding a Bible because the Bible, the Word is our heart.
Come on.
Okay, so if the Word is our heart, the scroll and the books and the scriptures is our heart, the law is our heart, Christ is our heart, then the book, my friend, is only in God's heart, that book, which means he knows who's reprobate because he's the one that created them that way. And when I say create, I'm not talking about from the beginning, dispensationalist. I'm not talking about that. When the Bible says that he makes all good and he makes evil, he creates good and creates evil, I'm saying that God is the one that creates someone to be reprobate after they've made the choice to do so. So when it talks about him creating evil, how do you think the person was created evil? I'm talking about a reprobate person, someone that has a chance to choose God. They have a chance, but they decide, you know what? God's not for me. So God gives them over to a reprobate mind. As soon as he gives them over to that, it was him that created them evil at that moment. Him. That's what him creating evil means. Because as soon as he makes them reprobate, they become evil. That's it. There is no more choice. Choice is over. So the Bible says, how does it word it in Hebrews? How does it word it in Hebrews? It says that he's long suffering. Ain't that what it says? Right, guys?
Christ, yeah.
Right. When it talks about us receiving God, doesn't it say that he's long suffering, that he's patient? He waits for us, right? To receive him. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Does it say he's forever suffering?
No.
No. It does not say that. It doesn't say that he will try to draw himself or try to get you to draw to him to draw. It does not say that lasts forever. That is not true. It says he is long suffering. But he is not going to try to draw himself to you forever through eternity. It's not true. But he is long suffering. That part is true. But once you made up your mind, and he knows it, and trust me, he knows when your mind is made up. And as soon as that decision is made that you do want nothing to do with him, he will give you over to a reprobate mind. And that day, my friend, you have been made evil, created evil by him. Not since you were born, that sin was given to you by Adam. But you refused salvation. And you rejected God. The Bible even talks about that in Hebrews. But you rejected him. And there is a day of reckoning. But I'm telling you, be careful who you call reprobate, because reprobate, if you go study that in its original language, it makes it very clear. Listen, all of us were born reprobate, meaning not of God, but we have not been created reprobate. That had not happened yet. It's only God that creates evil. And when he creates evil, it doesn't mean from the beginning. It means the way that you ended yourself by choice is either going to be you being created righteous or evil. But it's your choice. So you're either going to get born again or not. So if you're not born again, then you're not made of God. Therefore, you're not created by God. So right now, there are people in this world born under the first Adam, but they 100% have not been born again through Christ. So they are not in the image and likeness of God. They're in the image and likeness of fallen Adam. Why is the host so slow on the screen? What's up, Dre? Something wrong with YouTube or what? All right, so let me just say these two. So blotting out of the Bible, the only way you can get blotted out is because you were in there to begin with. And getting blotted out is, even though Revelation, only your head shows. Yeah, I know, because I have it inverted. I know. Can you lower? Well, I'm about to. Oh, I wish I could. I need to figure out. Is that a little bit better? That's the best I can do, man. I'll try. I'll work on it, because I see a line right here, and I think there. Hey, it was only like this. Hey, what's up, y'all? What y'all do? Hey, all they could see was my eyes and my hat. Okay, I'll work on that. But guys, I gotta go. So check it out. Let me end it by saying this real quick. So the blotting out thing in Revelation, what we see the dead coming and being judged by their works and being blotted out. Okay. But understand the reprobate mind happens here on earth. It happens here. But on the day of judgment, they get blotted out and removed. Okay. So hopefully I was able to kill two birds with one stone there. Kenny or Amazing, y'all got something to say real quick because we got to go.
All I gotta say, man, is that was excellent. Excellent. Even the transition, it was excellent. Thank you.
Absolutely. Amazing. What you got?
Yeah. That's beautiful. Even that Psalms, when you read it from the beginning to the end, and then man, you got to go back over that again, because when it talks about how the waters were covered him and he was caged in, that applies also to the Apostle Paul talking about the war between the flesh and the spirit, warring for the soul. But that was absolutely phenomenal, brother. And so when people use Romans chapter 1 and they say, hey, they knew God, they didn't glorify him as God, he gave them to a reprobate mind. Yeah. They want to use those individuals that's saved already, and that's not the case.
All right, well, let me go to that just real quick. I do have to hop off, but let me go to Romans 1. We can go over it some more another day, but let me at least say this real quick. Jennifer got a question. Just hold on a second. Yeah, what verse is it in Romans 1? Because it does say that right here.
Look around about 13 or 14 something. 8.
Hey, y'all, please thumbs up the YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
Even before we leave, it still helps. On the very top, if you see a little thumbs up, if you just tap that, it'll open it up, and then just tap the thumbs up so we can get to like at least 25 thumbs up if possible.
Yeah, so guys, yeah, let me say that. Yeah, guys, listen, if you're on, right, I'm talking about the people on TikTok. If you haven't already, man, why is it doing that? If you haven't already subscribed or followed Descaled on YouTube, it's at Descaled Live. So please go over there and follow at Descaled Live, the YouTube channel for Descaled. And I need everybody, please, right now, try to go over there to YouTube and give YouTube a thumbs up. I'd like to do that before we hop off, because right now we only got probably, I think, 20 thumbs up. And between the both, there's about 100 people. I'm not saying that I need to get 100 thumbs up over there, but if we can get at least 40 or so, that'd be awesome.
Hey, we're at 26. That's good. Y'all keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if there's 100 people between both of them, watching, I don't know why we couldn't get at least 50 or at least 40. Sometimes we only get about 20 or 25, but I keep forgetting to tell people to go over there. Let me see. Party time. Yeah, so thank you. That was Jay Spazin coming in. So Romans 1, it's 26 further down. He says, for this cause God gave them up unto vile affections, for even women did change their natural use into which is against nature, and likewise also men, leaving the natural use of a woman, burned in their lust one toward another, men with men, working which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves the recompense of their error, which was meat. 28. This is Romans 1:28 says, and even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness. Listen to all this: envy, murder, debate, deceit, backbiters, haters of God, without understanding. You put Romans 28 through 32, you put Romans 1, 28 through 32 with Hebrews, that's talking about that if somebody, because it's talking about, I think it's Hebrews 11, where it's talking about a certain kind of Christian. It's a mature Christian. That it says if they were to leave, it's impossible for them to come to repentance. This is someone, and it tells you, taste the gift, and it goes through these things, which I've spoken on this before, but it's talking about someone that has gotten saved, someone that has received the Holy Spirit, someone that knows how to operate and knows the word very well. This Hebrews is talking about a mature believer. It's not talking about a baby in Christ that's been going to church for 20 years, is too stupid to have a good time, liars about what they know about the Bible. They know nothing. Their dad might know something, but they themselves know nothing about the Bible, and they're acting like they themselves are mature. It's kind of like a kid that lives his life through his father who was in the military. You're going to look like an idiot. You were never in the military. Oh, I know, but my dad, but you weren't. What are you talking about? It's the same kind of behavior. My dad was a pastor, but you're not. You haven't pastored nobody. You've never pastored one person. You just run around telling people they don't know what they're talking about, and you're just as dumb as them. So that is not a mature Christian. Hebrews is talking about a mature Christian, that if they were to fall away, if they were, that's not losing salvation. Salvation's not a set of keys. You're not running around. You're like, oh, man, I can't find my keys to my truck. That's not salvation. Oh, I don't know where my salvation went. No, you chose to walk away. You chose. You chose to walk away. So when people try to say, no, you can't choose, man, the Bible makes it clear that if they shall fall away, it's talking about you have a choice in the matter. Sin is not what's leading you there. Now, sin can cause you to start having unbelief in God, right? If you start getting into some ridiculous stuff and you never stop whatever it is, it can lead you to start having unbelief in God. But a reprobate mind is not just referring to a Christian that don't have it all together. That's not what it's talking about. Someone that's still ashamed when they're doing something they know they shouldn't be doing, and they're ashamed. That's not a reprobate mind. That person just stupid. It's not the same thing. It's not a reprobate mind. Anyway, Jennifer, you had a question?
I was going to ask, did you ever go through the book of Esther on here? If so, and that way I can go look on YouTube.
I've pretty much talked about everything in the Bible at this point. We're just kind of like doubling and tripling up. What part of Esther did you want to talk about, or what? We can do it tomorrow, hopefully.
Well, I wanted to see if there was a YouTube video I can watch that way, because me, sister Nina, and some others have been going through Esther, and there are some things we are seeing, but we can't, I guess, come to a conclusion. All
right. Let me do this. I'm going to write down. Let me write down Esther. Let me write down. So I wrote down Esther. So tomorrow. Oh man, hold on. Come on. My bad. All right, so tomorrow, if you want to hop in some of it tomorrow, we can, no problem. I will say that I've talked about Esther a lot, like a lot. I don't remember, that book ever being like a hiccup. Like I remember going over it I remember you guys going over a part, and I try to throw some hints out there. I think it was we were talking about, or y'all were talking about. Yeah, I made a comment and said go back to the purification process, because people were asking, like, you know, what was so special about her? Because y'all were talking about, well, they're not really supposed to approach the king, but there was favor. She had favor, and it's because of the purification process, which is referring to the smell of Christ. That's why it says that she was purified for 6 months in myrrh, right? So gold, frankincense, and myrrh was given to Jesus, and that's because he is that smell in the Bible, right? Songs of Solomon says, I woke up to my beloved at the door, but then I went to the door and my beloved was not there, but yet my hand dripped of frankincense and myrrh from the doorknob, right? Which is a fragrance of Christ, the beloved. So we'll go over it tomorrow a little bit. Anybody got anything before we hop off? Because we got to go. Anybody?
Hey, God bless you, man. It was a great teaching. I haven't really heard teachings about dead works and reprobated mind. So it's definitely good, man. Good having being on here. So God bless you, bro, and may God continue to just anoint your ministry as you move forward.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You're welcome to come up anytime, man. It was good to have you. Anybody else got something to say?
Bless.
Say God bless and thank you again, brother.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys, remember, Descaled, I try to come on between 8:30 and 9:30. Sometimes it's not till 12:30. I try, but the sun is starting to come out, so I'm going to be outside a lot more. You know, when it's cold and rainy, it makes it easier for me to kind of start a little bit earlier. It's still not easy, but it's a lot easier. It doesn't mean I can't start at 8:30. It doesn't mean that. I'm just saying there might be some frequent frequent 10. I'm hoping not. So let me just say that may not happen. Let me just make that real clear, but it could. But God bless, guys, and we will see y'all in the morning.
Later.